Kardashian recently attended the Met Gala with her daughter, North, which was obviously caught on camera. And now, the shocking clip of North being completely abandoned by Kim is going viral. While Kim has been photographed on the red carpet, she left her daughter outside the event by herself. At first, North stood by the street and waved at the paparazzi. North looked so scared, which is honestly understandable. Her mom was nowhere in sight. And New York City can be an overwhelming place, especially for a child. Then she started nervously looking in every direction. There were security guards outside the Met Gala, but none of them seemed to be in charge of keeping an eye on North. And based on how lost she appeared to be, she wasn't familiar with any of the guards. Soon, North started wandering a few steps away while continuing to look around for her mom. This clip of North being left by herself near a New York City street is seriously sad. But because Kim had seemingly prioritized appearing on the red carpet, the situation was also extremely upsetting. Kim has been invited to the Met Gala year after year. There's no way that she was unaware that it's an adults-only event. So why on earth would she bring her 9-year-old daughter just to abandon her by the street? Allegedly, Kim tried bringing North into the Met Gala despite knowing that attending guests have to be at least 18 years old. But as we saw, she wasn't able to sneak her daughter into the event. No matter what, Kim had absolutely no excuse for ditching North while she walked the red carpet. At the bare minimum, Kim should have made arrangements to make sure her daughter was comfortable and safe. She definitely could have planned for someone North knew to wait with her outside the event, but Kim didn't do any of that. And the fact that she abandoned North instead has sparked an unbelievable outrage. Kim apparently decided to leave North alone outside the event instead of just bringing her daughter home. She could have left without appearing on the red carpet for photos, but she chose to let North wait outside by herself instead, and that decision speaks for itself. It really seems like Kim placed more importance on attending the event than she did her own child's safety and mental health. But believe it or not, some people have actually tried supporting Kim's decision in a truly bizarre way. Some of Kim's fans have come to her defense and claim that North wasn't in any danger at all. They seem to believe that because there were security guards outside the Met Gala, nothing bad could have happened. But the reality of the situation is insanely alarming. Despite the guards being outside the event, it really didn't look like any of them were working with Kim or North. If anyone from security had been asked to keep watch over North, I feel like they would have been close enough to reassure her. But none of the guards seemed to be focused only on North. Thankfully, nothing terrible happened outside of North feeling scared and alone. But if anything unexpected had happened, Kim wouldn't have known right away. If North had somehow gone missing, her mom would have had no idea what had happened beforehand. Kim was actually interviewed on the red carpet, and she mentioned that North was waiting outside in the car. I'm not sure how North ended up waiting by herself near the street in that case. Most parents would rather be safe than sorry when their child's well-being is at stake. Luckily, North ended up being okay, but she had still basically been left alone by the street, all while strangers were taking pictures and videos of her looking incredibly worried. Doesn't that seem like a neglectful situation? North looked even more distressed in cell phone footage that was recorded by people who were across the street from her. It's easier to see her facial expressions in those videos, and she was so nervous. It's obvious that North wasn't comfortable being on her own, and it's honestly ridiculous if Kim had expected her 9-year-old to be fine with waiting alone, especially in a strange city. The Met Gala is a super overwhelming experience for a lot of adults, which means it's probably much worse for a child. If North is pushed into attending similar high-profile events for the rest of her childhood, that could negatively affect her long-term. North has already made it clear that she hates being photographed while out with her family. For years, she's yelled at the paparazzi to get away or called them out for being creepy and following her. So if she feels forced into the spotlight, that could be seriously devastating. North's boundaries not being respected by photographers is bad enough, but it would be even worse if she grows up feeling like her mom or anyone else in her family is pressuring her to be in the public eye. If North ever feels like her family's publicity matters more than she does as a person, that could lead her to having extremely low self-worth. She could also grow up not believing in herself. But there's more. If North doesn't feel comfortable standing up for herself or her boundaries, she could be exposed to a lot of harmful situations. But also, her childhood could have life-changing effects on more than just her own self-perception. This would be absolutely heartbreaking. North's relationships with any family member she potentially felt controlled by could end up very strained. If she grows up feeling forced into uncomfortable situations by anyone, it wouldn't be surprising if she eventually felt resentment towards them. Not to mention, there will always be at least one cruel person online that makes harsh remarks for no reason. Unfortunately, celebrities and their innocent kids are targeted by internet bullies every day, and those hurtful comments can end up being unbelievably dangerous. A celebrity's child who's brought up in the limelight is going to get a ton of attention whether or not they want that in life. They can't consent to being in the public eye, but that doesn't mean they won't get unfairly criticized. If someone grows up constantly being dragged down, their mental health will most likely suffer. And for kids being raised in the spotlight, they're subjected to far more criticism than non-famous children with private lives, and that could end up being a recipe for disaster. Celebrities are usually just like everyone else when it comes to dealing with mental health struggles. If someone has seriously negative beliefs about themselves, it's not uncommon for them to potentially develop very unhealthy ways to cope. There's a big reason why a lot of child actors grow up to face really troubling mental health issues. The pressures of that lifestyle are incredibly overwhelming, and having every little detail about their personal lives exposed in the spotlight must be so challenging. Those people might turn to substance use or any other type of harmful dependence later in life. In order to try to escape their emotional struggles, struggles, some people will do just about anything. And unfortunately, Kim has seemingly already set North up to experience so much media attention, it's insane. North's TikTok account, which is supposedly a joint account with Kim, has nearly 16 million followers. That's honestly hard to believe. And even though Kim has claimed that she monitors all of North's activity on the app, that hasn't always seemed to be the truth. Kim's parenting has come under fire in the past because of North going live on TikTok by herself. But both Kourtney's daughter, Penelope Disick, and North have already basically established their roles as child influencers. In the long run, that amount of pressure and expectations could be really damaging. All of the feedback that North's posts already receive might be blocked from her now, but eventually those comments could become harmful outside influences. She's only 9 years old right now, and the media exposure she has is only going to grow over time. If North doesn't have supportive, well-meaning people in her life as she gets older, parts of her future could be really difficult. There's no doubt that her family loves her a lot, and hopefully they keep in mind that her choices and boundaries matter too. Based on what we saw in the recent viral clip, North isn't always in the greatest situations, but hopefully Kim doesn't let what North experienced outside the Met Gala happen again. Maybe next time there's a big event she wants to bring any of her kids to, she'll decide to let them stay home instead. But anyway, what do you guys think about all this? What are your thoughts on North waiting outside the event by herself? Do you think the backlash that Kim has been getting over this clip is understandable? Or was it just an honest parenting mistake? Let me know in the comments below.